Hello, welcome to Patched. I'm your host, Paul Jamestone, joined by Matto Phillips. How's things, mate?
I'm alive. Fourth year in a row, no PAX box.
Oh, no PAX box. Right. I was like, what have I missed?
Wait, you're dead? No,
You, or you're at risk of dying? Okay, yeah, PAX box. No,
no.
yeah, dodge that bullet as well. So feeling good about it. Maybe we're just not trying hard enough.
Maybe we're just better than everyone else.
I mean, there's likely
We're
that
not
too.
weak.
We'll go with that. Let's go with that one. But we're casting an eye forward in this episode. There's been a little bit of conversation over the course of the week about, or the last week or so actually, about the next generation consoles. There was actually a video that PlayStation posted that involved Mark Cerny and a representative from AMD. I can't for the life of me think of who that was. He refers to the future console being a few years, like in a few years' time, quote unquote. Um, but there's been a few reports being floated around, both in terms of PlayStation but also Xbox as well. The 2027 is the year for the PS6, and I don't know what ridiculous name they come up with for the Xbox this time around. Xbox 360, One, X and S.
Stacked.
Yeah, who knows? Let's go stack.
Jobless.
Oh, shit.
Jobless.
Certainly a lot of developers if they keep butchering their brand like this.
Oh, there you go. There's the name right there. Xbox butchered.
Xbox, wrong. Just go buy a PlayStation. Um, And so there is this. Firstly, there is this very interesting video that you can go check out on the PlayStation YouTube channel where Mark Cerny, lead architect of the PS5, and I think he had a fair bit to do with the PS4 and and the PS5 Pro. He's done heaps. Absolute genius. Also responsible for Knack. Classic
What is a
franchise.
knack? Oh, I was just saying, what is a knack?
No, you remember Knack from the PS4, right?
Oh, if I googled it, it'd probably go, oh, that.
Launch title, the little dude that like crumbles into a million pieces. It's like a little kid's like family platformer style game. As soon as you see it, you'll.
PS4.
I'm glad we got the big pregnant pause in the end, but
Ah,
PS4
right,
game.
okay.
You remember that? But
okay, yeah.
Two not very good games. But Mark Cerny's a genius. Anyway, he spoke a fair bit about it. It's very tech speak, so unless you really got your head around that, it's not really worth listening into. They're working on new generation consoles, and a few years from now is the wording. But there's been a lot of this reporting for quite some time, and I think the simple question that we can kind of discuss today is 2027 as a potential date, is that too soon? It will be 7 years, which is fit with recent patterns, but is that too soon?
You do say 7 years, but you got to remember the first 2 years are a bit, let's just say, turbulent.
Yeah.
Because when it got released, I remember, you probably remember too, not all people were able to get a PS5 or Xbox Series X due to, this thing called a chip shortage.
Yeah.
And also there was a big, this big pandemic thing going on as well.
That got in the way a bit too.
That got in the way a bit too, but like it took me 2 years to get a console for both actually because the same problems. It was like, oh hey, PS5s are very limited. Next minute, go on. And he's like, what the hell? He's like, oh hey, go to Target, go to here. Just everything was just gone instantly. So I would call it a 5 year run because as we all say, we don't include those 2 years that we were stuck in a house for a long time.
Yeah, I'm with you. Well, for a bit of perspective on the whole thing, and this is at roughly the same point in time. The PS5 has sold about 3 million fewer units than the PS4 at the same point
Oh really?
in its lifespan. So it's actually pretty close. Keeping in mind the PS4 has now gone on to sell like 120 million units. So there's plenty of, I guess, life in it. And at this point, the last report was from June where PlayStation said they'd sold 80.3 million consoles. And obviously Xbox, they don't really share their numbers because their numbers suck. But I guess
Or
there's
they
plenty
don't
of
tell
juice.
the truth.
Well, there's that too. There's plenty of juice left to be squeezed in terms of console sales. And obviously, yeah, part of it, COVID, part of it, chip shortages, all of those sorts of things that kind of underpin the whole thing. But for me, it's more like it's only been the last 24 months or so where we've finally started seeing some, and I'll hone in on the PS5 because that's obviously the prominent console of the two. We were only really starting to see some exclusives. Obviously, Ratchet and Clank was an early exclusive,
Yes.
but God of War was multiplat.
Yes.
Horizon was multiplat. That's
Oh yeah.
we're still talking that 2022
Oh,
period
geez.
there. 2023 we got Spider-Man 2. 2024 we got Astrobot, as well as a failed multiplayer game in Concord, and
Carrot.
a very successful one in Helldivers.
Carrot.
But really, it's only been like the last 24 months, and obviously this year we've gotten Ghost of Yote. But we've only really kind of recently finally broken away from the PS4 in terms of some of the exclusive things, the big ticket items that draw the hardcore gamers in. So I just can't help but think that there's much more to extract from this console, just tech wise, before we need to move on. I don't know.
It's also the fact too that with the PS5 they went strong with like, hey, here's game. The first year's like, hey, here's some exclusive games, and then kind of after that they, once they hit and miss, it's like, oh, here's an exclusive game, and then almost the next 2 years we didn't really see a lot. What, three?
we
Three
had
first
studio
party games from
shutdowns and
Sony.
cancelled projects and all those
Yes.
sort of things. Like Ben's studio could have and should have put out a game by now after Days Gone in 2019, but instead it's going to go into 2026 and they haven't even announced what's next because they've cancelled 2 projects along the way. Let alone some of the other studios that they've closed as well. So it's there's that side of it that's not helping either. We do obviously have some games coming down the pipeline that we, well, at least at this point in time, understand to be PS5 and PS5 only, and obviously Wolverine for next year, Saros for next year, and then maybe casting an eye to 2027, you might get Intergalactic from Naughty Dog, their only game, like their only new game for the generation. They're another one that's a bit like Ben Studio. Obviously, they're prestige and got the talent and reliable, and will probably put out a 10 out of 10. But they've also cancelled projects along the way. We should have had our Last of Us multiplayer game somewhere along the way that got cancelled. I don't know, like it, just the amount of the output. Sucker Punch has just put out their first and now probably only game for the generation. Like it's not great.
Oh. Yeah, it is. But that's always I was thinking too. Is like, oh, you got to release a new console. Then I sort of realized like, yeah, but you haven't released that many games on this console. And what's going to have there? Spider-Man 3. That's about it off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I don't know what else all the other developers have got to do. I mean, Marathon might eventually come out.
Oh yeah, Marathon.
Then.
That'll be multiplat. But yeah, at least it's something that comes out.
But other than that, you sort of scratch your head and go, I don't know what else is going to come out. Because you go to the other side. We're not going to Xbox. We'll go to Nintendo. The ones that don't really care about this whole Xbox versus PlayStation.
Yeah.
And somehow they still are able to release 5 first party games?
At least.
Every year? At least. Even this year there was nothing when the Switch 2 came out, and then all of a sudden, bang.
You've got Kart, Donkey Kong, I mean Dragon Drive if you want, and then you've got Horror Warriors and Kirby too. And I'm not even going to count the remaster of Kirby, but yeah, Kirby, Pokemon's just come out, Metroid's still to come. I'm sure I'm forgetting something else in there as well.
Oh, something there for sure.
And that doesn't even include the stuff that came earlier in the year, Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, and some of the other games that came to the original Switch in the first half of the year. They just keep churning them out. And obviously the great advantage for them is that they no longer develop for the handheld, so all the resources they used to divide across multiple things are now just for one platform that serves as both. But PlayStation's got a lot of teams too. They don't seem to be they just don't seem to be able to do it very well. And we're obviously talking about the first parties, but there's also the third parties that are pretty slow going these days as well. I'm sure every single one of them could look at that console and go, "There's more I can do with that."
I'll say this. I would exclude 2 from the third parties, which is Capcom.
Well, they're churning them out, yeah.
They're churning them out, and the ones that make the Yakuza games, because they just somehow...
RGG, yeah.
Yeah, they just somehow, as a miracle, just somehow keep bringing out games. Not Yakuza games as well. I can't remember, there's a fighting game as well we talked about. Is it Dead or Alive? No, not Dead or Alive. Virtua Fighter.
Virtua Fighter.
You look at it, look at the studio, go, how the hell are this studio just churning out games? It's just,
Yeah,
it's impressive. Don't
at the
get me
rate
wrong,
that they're
because
doing it.
you look at other studios and go, what are you doing wrong that they're not? So they're the two I exclude from that conversation. But everyone else, lift your game, god damn it. What are you doing? Is more the question. I don't Ubisoft. You go in there because all your games are you. Yes, you release a game once every year, but it's a very hit and miss game.
Yeah, it's pretty unreliable these days.
COD, same. Battlefield's better reoccurrence, but give it time, it might go to shit. But most of the studios, yeah, it's just like, oh, it takes 5 years. Like, it doesn't have to take 5 years. You just choose to take 5 years because you just throw in features that nobody wants. You go, I just want a story game. That's all I
Or
want.
they feel like they need to rebuild every single asset rather than do what RGG does, for example. And we can use this same system from before. We can get. Remember everyone losing their mind over the fact that Kratos got out of the boat in the same way in both games, and
Oh
everyone,
yeah,
everyone
the
with an
most
ounce of
point.
common
Oh,
sense was like, it's okay, that's all right if it happens. And now you're getting your game in
what?
2022 instead.
So I would guarantee you, if you got on a bike, if a person complained about that boat thing, I'm guaranteeing you, 2 years later or 5 years later, you're still going to get on the bike the same way.
Yep.
But no one complains about that. No, it's just, oh, he gets in the boat the same way. It's like, so what? That's the only thing you look of. I care about that axe throw into someone's head. That's what I care about. I don't care about no boat.
Yeah, and maybe stuff like that where and admittedly 4 years is still a longish time these days as well, but maybe that was the difference between the game coming out stuff like that. Sorry, not just that one example, but stuff like that was the difference between the game coming out in 2022 versus 2023. And I'll take the 2022 release, which was still my game of the year any day.
It was mine too.
Yeah, good choice.
I didn't care about no boat.
Yeah, we don't need no boat.
Give me an axe,
or
boy.
no boat differences. Yeah,
Boat
anyway,
boy.
we know what we're getting at. There's, I think people's expectations are ridiculous of teams these days, and then I think the teams themselves get suckered into it, and so suddenly it takes their games ages to come out, and I don't know. Now we like I reckon there's most developers out there that look at and will use the PS5 again as the dominant console of the two, and they look at it and go, there's heaps more we can do with this if we just had enough time. And
So you look at the same like the PS3 and the 360 back in the day. You look at games that came out at the start of that era to the end of that era, and you look at it and go, wow, those games are amazing. Like GTA 4 to GTA 5, like that was on the same console, and you look at it and go, you wouldn't know that's on the same console. You're like, this is insane.
Resistance
now it's just,
to The Last of Us as absolute bookends.
Yeah, and now it's just like, oh yeah, we'll just do the bare minimum. Hey, look, graphics. Look at that mountain. Frame rates. Let's do that. Let's not go any further than that. It's like, oh, come on. I want water.
So I wonder how much of this then is actually driven by the console manufacturers in the end, because they're like, well, we need to get new boxes out there. So if you're in that weird point, then just put it on PS5 and PS6, or PS4 and PS5, or Xbox Series and Xbox Infinite, or whatever stupid bullshit name they call it. Which I could see that, by the way, given that they're trying to step away from consoles and try and get everyone essentially playing on PC. I could see Infinite being the thing now. I'm locking that in the vault just in case.
Xbox PC.
Yeah, they'll just call it that. They'll just give up completely.
Well, what's the next Windows? Xbox 11, Xbox 12.
12? Xbox 12. Windows 12 Gaming Edition.
Xbox.
Yeah, I don't know. They're a joke. I think you've got this combination of gamer expectations, developer expectations to have to feel like they need to do everything from scratch, like they can't just reuse everything, and then the console manufacturers pushing things out. Now, admittedly, 7 years, PS3 to and Xbox 360 was 7 years.
Eight.
Actually, technically 8 for the Xbox, came out a year earlier. You had 7 for the PS4 and the Xbox One. Seemingly, we're on track for 7 again here. So they are keeping to a pattern here, which is longer than what it used to be before the PS3 and the 360. But, yeah, you said it really well yourself. Like the difference between some of these games that are early gen and late gen across now PS3 and PS4 and the Xbox equivalents shows that they could do a hell of a lot more this generation. They just developers aren't getting the time to do it, and they're not managing their time properly as well. And so, it's giving me the shits. Honestly, if you had your way, what year for the next generation of consoles?
Oh, 2030.
Ooh,
Then
10
we
years.
might get three more games out of some developers by then. I mean, you could go 2027 if you want, or 2028, but then the problem comes how much, and it's really pushing the limit now. Because also with PS5 as well, they've released their PS5 Pro as well, and now you're just going to ignore it.
Yeah.
Did it come out last year?
Yeah.
2024?
Yeah, it was last
It
year.
was
Yeah.
2024. So you talk that up here somewhere, and now you're like, oh, we're gonna build a new console in 2027. It's like, well, what's the point of releasing a PS5 Pro then if you're not, going to utilize it? Because you always talked about this AI scaling and frame rates and whatever the third thing is, I don't particularly care about.
Jeez, yeah.
I don't know. Like
Times messed me up. It was November last year for the PS5 Pro,
oh really?
so it's not even been 12 months.
Oh wow. I can't remember the big three he kept talking about. AI scaling, frame rate, ray tracing. That's the
Ray
right. There we
tracing.
go. Oh god, that's what we've come to now. I want a game that's fun. I don't care about ray tracing.
It is this sweet spot where, like, it seems like the number of actual people who buy a console, certainly like the big two, seems to be kind of plateauing at about 180 to 200 million. And so maybe as they get closer, like that 7 years at the moment is kind of the sweet spot where like, okay, we've sold to everyone we can sell to, and a bit like by this point, and so that's what prompts them to go again. And if they push to an 8th year or they push to a 9th year, they're like, we're selling games, we're not selling hardware anymore, and they want to sell both. So maybe that's part of the rationale. But if we're just talking about the art and the actual things that we get to play and not worrying about finances, yeah, for me, 2020. I want to see The Witcher 4 come out and be exclusive to this current generation. If we get that, I'm happy.
Okay.
So I presume that's 2027. Same with Elder Scrolls 6 at this point. And then from 2028 onwards, I can deal with it. 2029 in my mind would be the absolute sweet spot where there's another 4 years we can really push things like the PS5 Pro. But I don't think Xbox will allow it on their end because they've got the Series S, which just it's like an anchor hanging off the whole Xbox brand. What little brand there is left.
Oh yeah, that too. It's a silly idea from the start, and why they've stuck with it, I don't know.
Yeah.
Fools.
Any other thoughts on the subject though?
No. It's just one of those. It's just a haunting thing I look at. It's like, oh, the next console release, because it's more that question of if it does come out, will I buy it? And the answer is, I don't know. I might become the nemesis and say, I'm going PC.
I mean, I could almost sit back and go, okay, Xbox I probably won't buy anymore if I can get a decent PC by then. But
even PS5 games are coming to PC, so it's even more.
well, you got to wait 12 months, and I couldn't say.
I can live with that.
I couldn't say no to the PlayStation thing, but I get it. That's you're not quite as hardline with them as I am. So that's
didn't they have 30th anniversary like accessories out this week somewhere?
Yeah, they had a second wave of pre-orders,
and you had that EB perks,
which thanks to Ghost, I do have that, but I did not take advantage here. I showed some restraint, which I'm very proud of myself. I really, really could have used. I have a portal anyway, but I was very, very tempted by the grey 30th anniversary portal, and I just pulled myself back off the cliff.
No.
Said no. Showed some restraint. All right, Well, we'll wrap things up there then. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. All the buttons are down below. Hit the notification bell. That way you're alerted to every new video the moment it goes live on the channel. That includes Patched. We've got Let's Plays, Shorts, and a whole lot more. Visit the website, player2.net.au, for reviews, previews, opinion pieces, news, features, links to the podcast series Patched, the Player 2 Pixelcast, and Dev Diary. There's also a whole lot of our PAX Australia 2025 content there. Preview still popping up. The Pixelcast will be there in days, and a whole lot more. So yeah, check it all out. We're on Patreon, patreon.com/player2au, kicking a few bucks. Lower tiers early access, higher tiers monthly episode exclusives, and finally there's the socials. Matto,
Battlefield.
Paul, James Games, for myself. The website is player2au. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you later.